Hello automators, welcome to the Automation Kings YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to scrape LinkedIn to find your perfect prospect and then also message them. Okay, so you can automate the entire process of scraping LinkedIn, creating a message using AI and even sending a message. Okay, so there's a couple of tools that I'm gonna be using here and I'll go through all of that and we could also build it together live on the video. Okay, so there's three parts of the automation, right? The first part is you need to scrape URLs. Okay, so for that, I'm going to use a tool called Apify. So if you're not familiar with Apify, it's a tool that I absolutely love. If you follow me, you know that I spend a lot of time on here. And basically, Apify is a marketplace for scrapers. Okay, so to build the scrapers using Python scripts. And what's great about Apify is that they host it on their cloud servers and they take care of all the messy stuff like proxies. Okay. And it's a really great place to start because they give you $5 in free credits per month, which is honestly more than enough for what you need. Okay, so in this scenario, I'm going to be sending random people, prospects on LinkedIn, a message. So I'm going to connect with them first, and I'm going to send them a message about the service that I'm offering, which is an automation for anybody that runs Google Ads. Okay, so if you're a Google Ads agency or a Google freelancer, this is a perfect automation for you, okay? Because it automates the entire auditing of accounts, okay? And if you've run Google Ads before, if you've worked with an agency, you know that you can spend a lot of time in there, right? Because there's multiple accounts. If you have an agency, there's hundreds of campaigns per account, so you kind of multiply the time that you're going to need to do this, right? Whereas this automation will do it for them, and so that's what I want to sell. I actually don't want to sell it; I just want to give it away to them, get them on a phone call, and talking to me, okay? So the first part is the LinkedIn scrape. Okay, so I'm using a scraper by Codemaster DevOps, and I've used a few of theirs before. This was pretty good because it's only $1.50 for 1,000 results. Okay, I remember that you get $5 free credits every single month. So with the LinkedIn profile scraper, I'm just going to scrape a few keywords. So in my example, I'm using Google AdWords, United States, and agency. Okay, there's some information here if you want more of that. And once it scrapes, it will then pull it into the Apify module on make.com, okay? And then the output will be the Google Sheets. So it's just add a row. And so this is the sheet, this is what it looks like. And you can see I've got all the profile URLs in column A, and I've got the personalized message, which has all been automated by my AI-powered make.com automation, okay? And so that's the first part, right? The second part then is it will go through PhantomBuster because I've only got LinkedIn URLs, right? So I need more data before I can write a message. And so I need the first name, the title, the headline, job description, company name, company about, okay? And using a webhook, I'm pulling that information from PhantomBuster and plugging it into this automation here, okay? So this is the kind of secret sauce. This is what's going to create the message. It comes out into an array, which is just a table of data, and then it saves it into the same Google Sheets, okay, which is column B. And then this is PhantomBuster. So this is a paid app, but I highly recommend it because it automates a lot of what I need to do. And there's three Phantoms I'm using here. The first one is an auto connect. So I can actually plug in the first column, right, column A, take the profile URLs, and then just connect with them, okay? And I found that that's the best way to do it, because you just get a better response rate, right? You can just send a message without connecting with them, but just remember, if you send a message to somebody you're not connected to, it goes into their in-mail, right? It doesn't go into their DMs. And so that will obviously affect the performance, right? Because not everyone checks their email, right? I certainly don't. I've got hundreds of messages in there and I really don't look at it, right? Whereas DMs, it kind of pops up if you're inside of LinkedIn. You see like a window at the bottom right corner if you use it like on desktop like I do. And so, I'm more likely to pay attention to that, right? So the first part is just a LinkedIn Auto Connect Phantom, right? And then the second part is the LinkedIn scraper. So this is a scraper that basically connects to this sheet. It takes the URLs, and then with the webhook, it'll send the details here, okay? And then obviously the output is the message, which then leads on to the last Phantom, which is the LinkedIn message sender. So again, this is just connected to the same sheet. So everything's centralized to this one Apify LinkedIn scraper Google Sheet, and it will just then send this. So you can actually use a variable tag and like a I guess it's like a merge tag, right? And you can pull it into PhantomBuster. So you can take any of these rows, columns, right? So how do we build this? Okay, so the first part is you want to sign up to API. You can do your Gmail account, sign up, get the $5 credits, and then you want to run this automation. Okay, so let me just run this now. You want to basically put in some keywords here and then hit start. Okay, and that will then obviously scrape everything from LinkedIn. As you can see, it's saying starting run, which is great because now it's going to run in the background. And you can see once it's done, you'll see the output. Okay, and I'll show you the output once this is finished. So it shouldn't take long because I've only put in the input, I've only put in 4 pages, right? So obviously the more pages you have, the longer it's going to take. And so here you go, your 40 results here, and here's the output. So you've got all of these, right? And they should be added to the sheet here. Yeah, here you go. So there's more of these. I have actually got a script that removes this kind of junk. So you can put in a script, which is this thing here. So let me show you. So I've got a function remove URLs, and I'll put the script in the video description below, right? So this will just get rid of any of the garbage like you see like this, right? Which is, it's just the way the scraper outputs it for whatever reason, right? And it does on every run, right? So this thing runs like the script runs like every 10-15 minutes, something like that, right? So that's the first part, right? So that's this automation here working, and it's basically waiting for the actor to run, right? So it's an instant trigger, right? And then it grabs the URL, which is dataset items, and then it obviously will then save the URLs, okay? So let's go ahead and build this automation. Okay. So the first one is you want the API, which is, was it the watch actor runs? Yes, it is. So let's just grab this module here. Then you obviously connect it to your account. So you just want to create a new one if you haven't done so, and then create the account here. Okay, this is an old one, so let me try this one. And then we obviously just want to select the actor. So the actor is their kind of way of saying scrapers, right? So this is, which one was it? Was it the Dojo one? Dainty Screw, is that the correct one? Let's have a look. Let's go back into here. Yeah, Dainty Screw. Can you see that? Okay, so that is the correct one. So we're going to select Dainty Screw, save that, okay that, and then this will then obviously run, right? Now, the second part of it is, if you remember, you've got to grab the URLs, right? So this will run, and then this will then grab the data, right? The second one. Unfortunately, it doesn't kind of, you know, do it all in one module. I mean, there are benefits to that, right? You might want to split up some tasks. So you want to watch the actor run first, and then you might want to wait like an hour or so before you grab the dataset items for whatever reason, right? It's just the way that's been built in to the Make platform. Okay. So then you want to go back and add the dataset items. Okay. So it's the same connection, and then you want to get the dataset ID, which is from the first module. It's this one here, default dataset ID. You can hard code it and take this if you're testing it, which I highly recommend, but generally you just want to take that, right? And then the output is going to be JSON, and let's move this that way. We can OK that. Okay, and then the last one is you just then add it to a Google Sheet. Okay, so what do we do for this one? We did add a row. Okay, so we just go to add a row, and then just connect to the sheet. You put in the drive, which is your drive, and then you put in the name of the sheet. Okay, so this one is the API, LinkedIn scraper. Okay, and then you just select the sheet name, which is Google Ad Agencies. Table contains headers just means this, right? So most of you will use headers. So I use headers, right, which is the first row. So all that means is that it will just ignore the first row, right? And then you got LinkedIn URLs. So I'm just gonna take the because it's not running, right? So I need to just, what am I grabbing? I need to find the dataset items. Yeah, it'll just be the LinkedIn URL. right? So when you run this automation the first time, it will pull over the fields, and then you just want to grab the LinkedIn URL, all right? Because I haven't run this, so you want to see that, but I've only got a few credits on the free plan, so I don't want to use all this up, right? But just remember that the best way to test it is just unlink this, okay, and then just run it. Just run the automation, okay? And then once you're happy with it, then connect the last module, which is the Google Sheet, and then at which point you will have these, you will see all this, just come out of this, you'll see all these modules that you can pull through, all these fields, right? So you'll see all this come through. Okay. So yeah, this is how it works. This is the first part. Okay. And then we're gonna just delete these, and I'll create the second part of the automation, and I'll show you how to set up the PhantomBuster as well, okay? So the second part is this one, and I'm preferring to use the webhook, right? Although Make does have the PhantomBuster modules, right? So you have got the PhantomBuster modules, right? So you can watch an output, you can get an output, you can launch. I just feel like they've overcomplicated it, right? I can simplify it using the webhook, right? And it's still all API driven, okay? So let's just go through that. So we're going to create a webhook. And this will, we want to create a custom webhook, right? So this triggers when the webhook receives data, which is an instant trigger. That's why you have the lightning symbol, okay? And then you just connect to, or just create a new webhook, give it a name. So we'll just call it YouTube test. Save that. And then this is the webhook address that you need, okay? So then you copy this, and then you head over to PhantomBuster, and I'll show you with a new module, okay? So head over to the dashboard and then click on LinkedIn. And there are some pre-built flows, right, that you could go through. So the one you want is the profile scraper. Okay, we're going to use this one. Now you could do this, you could simplify this, and you can pay for a more advanced scraper on API, or you can pay for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So if you've got a LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can pull all this information off, and it will save you a step of scraping the profile, right? So then you just paste the URL in here, which is this one. Okay, and then head over there, and you want to select the URLs column, right, which is A, and then head over to save. And then you obviously need a session cookie, right? So connect that to LinkedIn. And then for the email discovery service, I just use PhantomBuster, whatever's the free one inside of here. Save, and then this is what it will do, okay? So you can do 80 profiles per working day, or 150 if you're using Sales Navigator. So there is some advantage. I mean, I don't use Sales Navigator. I think it's a bit overpriced, and I don't really use it that much. And I can do it with the automation anyway, right? With PhantomBuster and with Make.com. Okay, save that, and then this is the way you would set it up, right? So you can trigger this inside of Make.com as well if you wanted to. If you wanted to do it that way, right? But then you've got the schedule here, so you can do it repeatedly, or you can launch manually. Okay. And head over to advanced settings, go to webhooks, and then this is where you paste the custom webhook. Okay. So not this one, it's the one that we created just here. Copy this. And let's plug this into the custom webhook, okay? And then that will basically then receive the information as soon as that automation runs, okay? And then the next part of the automation is you need a JSON module, right? Parse JSON module, because the output from PhantomBuster is going to be an object, okay? So there's not much that you could do without the with obviously in JSON, right? So you want to pass the object, and this is what it will look like. So the result object, once you run this, you'll get the result object. Just map that, okay? Just map that field. I can't see it because I haven't run this, but this is what it will look like. Okay? And I'll show you what it will look like once the automation is done, and I'll run it in real time so you can see it creating the messages, okay? And then this is my favorite part, right? So we then use the OpenAI module, right? So I'm using a chat creation. Just going to connect to my account. Okay, this is how I do it. I mean, there's many ways you could do this, right? So the model I typically use is 4.0 mini. It's the most affordable. I think it's something like 70 cents for 2 million tokens or something. It's a mini system, very affordable. And the way I set it up is I always use a system. Okay, so the system role, there's 3 roles, right? The system, user, assistant. System, it kind of sets a tone, right? So you are an assistant writing messages for LinkedIn called outreach. Okay. So I always use the system, kind of sets a tone, right? And the second one then is user, right? So this is the main prompt, okay? And so let me just go back and show you what I did. So system is going to be something like that. And then I just get better outputs when I do a system and a user, okay? So then the content, the second prompt for user is my name Sanj, and I sell AI automation services to Google ad agencies, right? Google ads agencies. I want to create a great outreach message. Make the first sentence a personalized message that will grab user attention, right? And then these are the modules that have been passed through the JSON. Okay, so I've got the first name, I've got company, I've got headline, description, and company name, right? So I want to say if it is a company, it's not a person, right? Then obviously just say something like hey, right? I don't want it to use a placeholder like prospect's name because obviously this can be sent out automated, right? And then basically I'll don't sign off with a name, contact because it's LinkedIn. I keep it a bit more personal and less formal. And then I've added a video, right? So video that basically shows them how the automation works. And it basically shows you the outputs in real time, right? It's like a 10, 15 minute video. So my automation is free and if the prospect is interested, the call to action should be to reply back to a message. Okay, then I've given an example. So with ChatGPT, it works really well when you put in examples, right? That's how you get the best output. Normally I do 3, but this one was working well with just 1. So normally give it 3 outputs. And this is what I would write myself, right? And so this is the message. I probably wouldn't do this. Let's get rid of this because I did say don't make it personal, right? Or too personal. Or too formal, should I say. Okay. And then, yeah, that's it. And then for tokens, so every operation, the prompt going in requires tokens and the output requires tokens, which is just a payment for the operations. I set it to 0, so I just let OpenAI decide how many it needs. Something like this wouldn't be that many. It's probably between, I don't know, 150 to 250 tokens, okay? You can set the max tokens yourself, so you can limit it to 250. I just find that if you limit ChatGPT, it's going to be reflected in the output, okay? So just bear that in mind. But I put it in 0. And again, it's something like 70 cents for like 2 million tokens. So it's very, very affordable, right? It's going to take a long time to get through, or it's going to take you a while to get through 2 million tokens, right? And then I put it into an aggregator because it comes out into bundles, right? So if I've got multiple URLs, right, the output's going to be huge. So what I want to do is I want to put it into an array aggregator, right? And that just takes out the result from the message. Okay, so go back to your automation, and what do we have? An array aggregator, right? And so that would just be the result. Okay, so source module is going to be the parse JSON module, which is the one before it. And actually, is that how I set it up? Let me just double check. I think I did. Yep. So the parse JSON modules, which is where the source module is, because remember, PhantomBuster will output it into a object. Okay, so we're going to parse it, and then we just want the result, right? So then go back to the automation, select the result. This you can leave blank or whatever it is, and then okay that. And then lastly, you want to have a bulk upload. So it's bulk update rows advanced. And then you just put in the sheet ID, which is the long string. So if you go over to your spreadsheet where it says docs.google.com/spreadsheets/d/ and then it's just that long string before the edit, before the /edit, right? That's what you want to copy into here. And then you just select the array. So I'll show you in this one. So this is it here. This is a tab. And you just set the range. So the range is, for me, it's B2. Because remember the first one's a header, right? So B2, and I put it down to B100, which is fine for this example. And then just go back here. The output is the array, right? It's the array that's been aggregated. And so that will then dump it all into column B. Okay, and then obviously you just connect the modules up, and I've already done that, so I don't want to do that again. And I'll show you how the automation works. So if we head back into PhantomBuster, right? I'm just gonna discard this because I've already got this. So head over to my dashboard, and I want to use a profile scraper, right? So I'll show you how that works. And this is just make sure it's set to, is it running? I believe it is. So this will run as soon as the data arrives, okay? Which is what you wanted to do. And then we're just gonna launch it again because I've added some new URLs into the sheet, right? So let it just run. Now don't go too crazy with this because it is using a session cookie, right? So LinkedIn does know that you're connected, right? It's you that's connected, and it's just going through the automation. So I've just done it in blocks of 10, right? Because it just keeps it safer. You probably could go higher, and I probably will increase it at some point, but just for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to keep it at like 10 blocks of 10, right? I believe you can do, is it 80 or something like that? And they'll tell you, PhantomBuster will advise you, right? So we're just waiting for this to run, and you can see that's processing the sheet. Okay, so it's processing column A, okay, which is the LinkedIn URL. So it's up to this point here. I actually should have just removed these. Is it too late? Let's see. I think the automation, the script is set to like every hour or something, so I need to check that. But yeah, it should be okay. Don't have a problem here. It should just ignore that. But let's have a look. When is the script running? I'll probably change the timings of the script. So the trigger is what? Let me just see. Yeah, it's every hour. Oh no, it's every 4 hours. Okay, that's why it's not running. Okay, I probably should move that down to every hour. Is there anything less custom I can do? Okay, maybe every hour. Let's save that. And then that should remove those links, right? It does remove those links, which is fine. And so we'll just wait for this to run. You probably want another script in here as well that removes duplicates, because I can see some of these are duplicated, which is fine. I mean, the scraper, no scraper is 100%, right? But you can build it into the script. So you can have something like this, which will remove duplicates. So I should probably build that into this automation as well. So this one's to remove URLs, but I can also do one to remove duplicate data as well. Probably a good idea, actually. So let's see how far we are into this. So we're about 30% into it. And then wait for this to go. Wait for it to process. And then once it's done, what will happen is it will actually send the data to the webhook. Okay, then you'll see this webhook running as well in the background. So let's just wait for this to run. So we're at 5 out of 10. I remember this is scraping, right? I mean, technically it's, yeah, I guess it's 40%, right? Because it hasn't finished the 5th one. So we've done 4. But yeah, leave it running in the background. And you can see the leads as well. You can export this into CSV and other formats as well if you wanted to do that. I mean, I use JSON because I can then plug it into an automation like make.com, right? So we just wait for this to run, and then wait for it to send over the data to the webhook. Okay. It's taking longer than usual. It's not normally this slow. So I wonder if it is just being hammered today. Incidentally, by the way, you will need a session cookie for LinkedIn. I think you saw that, which is pretty easy. You just got to install the extension, the Chrome extension for PhantomBuster, and then it'll actually copy and paste your session cookie into the Phantom. This is something that obviously will have to be renewed regularly, right? It's not something that's going to last forever. I think I don't know, like a month or something that the session cookie lasts. So bear that in mind. It's not gonna be fully automated, right? Like it's not completely hands off where you build it and then you walk away. Unfortunately, you are gonna have to go back and refresh the session cookies and connect it and that kind of stuff, right? I've also found the same to be true with the session with the Google Sheets like Gmail and stuff. I've got some automations. I think it's been like 3 months, 2 months, where I need to go back in there and reconnect it. Okay, so they will, from time to time, they will require your attention. Is basically my point. So almost done here. We're at 7 out of 10, and then I'll show you how the automation will work. So once that's done, and what you'll see is the make fill in this. So basically like this, how you can see this. And again, this it knows the first name, right? Even knows that this guy refers to himself as Mike, even though look, his URL is Michael Hodgdon. So yeah, it's a good way to do this. And in the old days, I used to do this manually, right? Like I'll get a bunch of profile URLs, paste it into Google Sheet, and go through it manually, right? Like go through the profile, go through the company name, company about, and then put in like a personalized first line, which is the bit here, this thing here. It's not, I don't think it's that great, to be honest with you, the first line. But I mean, it's the best that you're going to do, right? Because it's ultimately based off their information, right? It's whatever they put in the headline and the job description that they do, and also the company name and company about, right? So it's going to be the best that you're going to be able to get off their own data, off their own profile. So almost done here. We're on 8 out of 10. Let's just see this through, and then I'll wrap up this video. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to put the extension, the app script, I'll paste that into the description so you can have that. And with this module here, just play around with it, right? You can play around with this, the prompt, until you get the best output, right? So typically this will take me a couple of hours because I'm testing it with different prompts. I'm asking it different questions and giving it different outputs, right? So this should be done now. Yeah, one last one. Okay, 9 out of 10. So let's just wait for this to come through. This just take a lot longer than it normally does, believe it or not. I'm normally just doing blocks of 10 because I just want to make sure that I don't put my LinkedIn profile, I'm not putting in jeopardy. So wait for that to finish. Heading back to Apify, I mean, there are other LinkedIn scrapers. This is just the most cost effective because it's 1,000 results for $1.50. But if you go into, and if you just type in LinkedIn, there's a lot more you can do, right? This is the one this is another one I use. This is another one by Curious Coder. There's obviously a profile scraper there. You can even do this with company scrapers if you just want to contact the companies directly instead of the individuals, which I don't know why anybody would want to do that. I think you get better results with just contacting individuals. But I mean, you can see the kinds of things you can do here, right? Like the comment scrapers, follow scrapers, thread scrapers. There's a lot you can do in here. So let's just head back to this. This should be now wrapping up. And then we'll wait for the automation to finish in the make side. Okay, so 9 scraped, saving the data. It's going to send it over to make.com. So you see that this is running. We can save changes. And if you go into the history, yeah, right. And then you can see the outputs as well of what it looks like. So here you go. These bubbles just means that these are all the messages that are coming through, right? And so this is generating the message. And then we'll see it once it's done. I'll put it into the sheet. this is obviously a good sign, right? And let's just wait for this to finish. How many have I got in here? Okay, 66. Okay, it's probably going to do all of these. There you go. Now so I'll put it to the sheet, which is what this means, but it's done as a bulk, right? Which is why there's only one result. And then here you go. These are all the ones I've just scraped on this video. Can you see that? So, yep. There you go. And it's a pretty cool way of doing this. So yeah, this is how you do it. Okay, so if you like this video, just leave me a comment below. Subscribe to the channel. Obviously, support means a lot. And if you've got any questions about how this automation works, or if you've got any issues with it, just leave me a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, so thanks for watching the video, and have a great day.